Let's talk about something beautiful. Let's talk about planet Venus, ruler of beauty. Venus is the second closest planet to the sun and is the brightest natural object in the night sky after the moon. Venus rules over Libra and Taurus, and it represents two significant areas of every human's life, which is money and love. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and it does quite well in Cancer. As a planet, Venus has a very calm, beautiful surface of white clouds. It's like a unicorn planet in a way, and it hides actually the dense atmosphere and intense volcanic activity. So it's got a lot of storm, a lot of anger, a lot of rage, but it's very calm on the surface, so you wouldn't know. Venus's orbit around the sun is 225 days and spends around 20 days in each sign of the zodiac, so it moves quite fast. There's another element to Venus astronomically that's, again, very fascinating when it comes to astrology of Venus. This planet is extremely unique in that it is the only personal planet that spins counterclockwise on its own axis. And the reason for this is due to Venus actually being upside down on its orbit, literally. Astronomers actually think that this happened because of some past collision with another celestial body. So some sort of accident may have happened and then literally got Venus to be off its orbit in that upside down situation. And if you had people on Venus literally see sun rise from the west and sets in the east, that's really how backward it is on Venus in terms of how it orbits. Also its own spinning. So this actually, to me, explains why Venus represents unconditional love, because it has this truly unique behavior in its own spinning, its own orbit, and putting another before self. That's a very Venusian symbology, and it's a very Venusian trait to have unconditional love and passion, almost dying for another and doing something just that is not logical. It's just not logical. And it's also associated with women and femininity. So all of these associations throughout history that basically there is a lot of emotion associated with femininity. There's not enough logic associated with femininity because the emotions take over, love takes over, sensuality takes over. You can almost understand it when it comes to the astronomy of Venus and how unique Venus is, how rare it is, how really different it is as a planet. And I think that exterior, the calm exterior and the stormy volcanic interior, again, that can be another symbolic way Venus and femininity can be explained, because women have always been pressured. Femininity has always been pressured to keep the exterior very calm and bright and beautiful. And no matter whether you have a bad day, an ugly day, or whatever, you have to keep that inside and hide it. And I think that's fascinating when you look at astronomy of Venus. That's exactly what this planet is. This planet is really this bright cloud, white cloud of brightness, hiding so much rage and anger and stormy situation of volcanic activities and all that within. As I have said, a synchronicity of planets in terms of astronomy of planets and the ancient symbolic associations, I just think it's crazy. It's incredible. I mean, it explains that we live in this simulation where everything that we associate with a name, it's like the logos, at the beginning was the word, it somehow codes for it. It becomes the script for that object. And it is fascinating how it works. Anyhow, in Roman mythology, Venus was the goddess of love and beauty and passion. Astrologically, Venus is also associated with principles of beauty, harmony, balance, fertility, feelings, and such. As well as anything that we value, anything that's luxurious, money, art, luxurious items and precious items. Anything that involves also value. So valuing not just art or money, but human behavior, justice system. Whatever we value, like we say someone's value, we don't just talk about their price. We also talk about someone's judgment or someone's value system, virtues, things like that. Venus in the chart in astrology shows women, artistic people. It can show marriage or the type of person we can love or we will fall in love with in a chart. That absolutely, the marriage partner as well. It all shows how we love, what we love. Those are very much associated with our Venus in a chart. Dante associated Venus with the art of rhetoric. Friday is associated with the planet Venus. In English, the word comes from Frigidig, I believe. It's named after the Nordic Germanic goddess of beauty, love and fertility, Freya or Frigg. And Freya Frigg was wife of Odin, apparently. And in many languages, Friday is literally named after Venus, such as in Spanish, it's Virnes, and in French, it's Vendredi. In ancient Greece, the equivalent goddess to Venus was Aphrodite. In Chinese astrology, Venus is associated with element metal or gold, which is strong and persistent and has a very nice taste. So those are representation of metal element. In Vedic astrology, Venus is known as Shukra and represents wealth, pleasure, and fertility. In ancient medicine, Venus was associated with lumbar region, with the veins, throat, thyroid, kidneys, and of course reproductive sexual organs and all that. In fact, the word venereal historically refers to diseases of Venus, which is to do with having too much luxury and fun and time and all that. So those are associated very much with Venus. When it comes to planets, I want to emphasize that the house placement is very important, followed by aspects to other planets and what else is touching Venus and what angles. Sign placement is going to probably have the last word on these matters. As a rule of thumb, the sign Venus finds itself in is going to be the costume that Venus is going to be wearing. Essentially, whether this costume from which Venus is going to be operating, the Venusian qualities, is this going to be, let's say, a very loose costume or a tight costume or just perfect? The house is the stage where this playing, this Venusian characteristic wearing this costume is going to be playing on that stage. So all of these are going to be like mixing different flavors or different colors, and we're going to get an end result. And the end result will be either really amazing or not so amazing or somewhere in between. For example, Venus in the 9th house will be somebody who loves traveling perhaps and also is very big on education, would do very well in education, would love studying and learning, especially about belief systems and other cultures and exotic things. However, is this going to happen with the person wearing the right clothes, or maybe the costume is too loose or too tight? And all of these are going to basically color the experiences of the person regarding this aspect of life. So it's not going to be prominent in every sector of life. It's going to be very prominent and very focused in that sector where Venus, in terms of house, is fallen in. Lastly, I would like to leave you with one of my favorite poems on this matter from my very favorite poet, Hafiz of Persia. It actually embodies the whole concept of love and its unconditional nature. He says, "O beautiful wine bearer, bring forth the cup and put it unto my lips. Path of love seemed easy at first. What came was many hardships.